What is up, everyone? It is your two loving ladies here to welcome you to episode 11 of Two Girls, One Trade. I am the trading chick, and I'm accompanied by my lovely co-host, the blonde broker. We have a very exciting episode lined up for you today, so sit back, relax,
and enjoy. Oh my gosh, I am super excited for this episode. But yeah, before we get started, dun dun dun, introducing our presenting sponsor, StockTwits, where we go to get a pulse of the market. And when I wake up, all I want to do is check what tickers are trending, see if the futures are green, and hope that my crypto portfolio is still hanging in there. And I'm able to do all of this with StockTwits. I'm also able to see like the latest 1 hour chart and pick an entry. It's never been easier to do this. So I'm getting into all these really awesome stock positions. I'm looking for trend lines and identifying like trading volume. It's just never been easier before. So go download the StockTwits app and let us know what you think. StockTwits!
We love StockTwits. StockTwits is the best, and they're our presenting sponsor. So make sure you follow them on Twitter, download their app, go to their website, because they're the fucking best.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're so hyped for them, and I just absolutely love it. And, you know, we have quite the episode lined up for you guys today. We're going to be covering Lucid and Sofi earnings, an update on the war between Russia and Ukraine. We're going to talk about the State of the Union meeting and a bunch of clean energy from the trading chick.
Yeah, baby.
I love the video. I love having video.
I feel like on the recorded episodes where you could just hear our voices, like they didn't get the opportunity to see the crazy facial expressions that we were making while we were recording. So now having the video, I feel like
is cherry on top.
Way better for everyone. But also be sure to note that we are just two girls who like to trade. So none of what we say is financial advice whatsoever. Don't go spending your whole life savings on the shit we say, because we're just here for fun and games. And if you want to listen, listen. If you don't. It's entertainment only.
You said it. Wink.
Yeah.
Double wink. So perfect. Let's dive right into it. With Lucid, probably one of my favorite stocks, but also one of the most painful stocks that I have been involved in. I had a very, very, very good entry with Lucid. We are getting pretty close to my like 50% profit entry point. So I'm still positive on Lucid. I have sold some. Just like the earnings were bad. We had missed production. So we saw Lucid stock sink as their production was cut in 2022. So Q4 earnings come out. We find out that Lucid had only delivered 125 of their Air cars. And they had made a statement that they were delivering 400. So definitely missed those earnings. And, you know, it kind of sucks because you and I had such a fun time at the showroom when I was in New York City, and we see this like beautiful Lucid Air car and find out that they had failed to deliver and basically slashed as much as 40% due to like supply chain restraints. So it's very upsetting. The stock opened up around, I think it was like 24.49 today, and saw it dip as low as 22. So we were down another 7% on the day with Lucid. If you were holding on to Lucid, I am thinking about you. But just remember, this used to be a $57 stock. Not saying it's ever going to get up there, but it is just really sad to see what's kind of happened with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Lucid holders, but at the same time, you know, there's so many, I feel like, EV scams right now. Not really like scams, but I just feel like there's so many EV companies that are overvalued unjustifiably, and I just feel like they're all kind of taking a massive shit just because of like the circumstances of who's in the, EV room. Like there's Neo, there's, what was that one?
Fisker, Rivian.
Fisker, but that's not the one that I'm thinking
Nikola.
of. Nikola was like such a massive disaster that I feel like everyone just assumes that these EV companies are scams. So like until they prove themselves to be worthy, they're not gonna be rallying super hard.
I think,
but that's just how it is with all of these small and mid-cap stocks. And talking of small and mid-cap stocks that need to prove themselves, I want to touch on some Sofi earnings. So Sofi dropped their earnings on Tuesday after hours. They beat on both revenue and EPS, and they raised their guidance for full year of 2022 to 1.57 billion, which is pretty fucking fire. The stock rallied 20% after hours, but of course, as per usual, those gains were completely erased the following day during trading hours. But honestly, this is still great for SoFi, and I think that this is definitely going to be a huge player as we continue in time. I personally have a position in this stock, and I just think that being a competitor in the banking space with a product that was built on tech rather than all of these traditional banks that have to adapt their products to keep up with tech gives SoFi a very big competitive advantage. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have.
You've been bullish on SoFi for a while now.
Yeah. It's not like my main bullish position, but I do like it. I also I work at a bank. So I see what their systems are like every single day, and I see how antiquated they are and how long things take because they just don't have the capabilities to keep up with technology. Like half of their shit is still on paper. So I don't know. I think that there definitely needs to be a very good fintech option, and just in general, I'm bullish on the sector.
I think we need to see a trading chick video of SoFi. You have a lot of requests for that, but
I can do that.
I guess speaking of videos, did you watch the State of the Union?
No, but I heard about it. Apparently Kamala was dressed in camouflage.
Oh, people are so mean. I mean, there was a lot. I think even Nancy Pelosi became a meme from this. It was the Sodu meme, is what they call it. Yeah. So Biden. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. So this is President Joe Biden's first State of the Union address. It was largely inward. We're looking at economic and public health woes that have been going on in the U.S. But the Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the war kind of took place of all that. So that was the main topic of the State of the Union. Well, at some point, Biden is talking about the burn pits and the effects that they're having on our troops that were in Iraq and Afghanistan that are suffering from these toxic fumes. And I feel they're saying she started to want to clap to celebrate something, but stopped herself and was rubbing her hands all greedily, really weird. And her reaction was the same as if I'm watching my Hot Pocket get heated up in the microwave, just come on bitch, spin faster, go faster. She's just sitting there, hey baby, heat up, I'm hungry. And it's just so weird. And so now she's become this kind of meme of we don't know, is this a bullish signal? What does this mean? So everyone's been doing it. She's a sweet little old lady, but I don't know. It was really cool. It was
sweet. I don't know.
It was cool to see all of the lawmakers support Ukraine through this time. So they were wearing blue. Nancy Pelosi had this suit that was adorned in a cute Ukraine flag pendant, which I really liked. But he just Biden touched on these hard-hitting sanctions and topics, and talked about the access to technology that Ukraine now has because of the US. And so it was a very interesting like conversation.
And
yes,
Elon
and
Musk.
Elon Musk coming
I want to plug
coming
him
in
with
clutch
Starlink.
Starlink. So there's a lot of like celebrating
Okay.
the West for really coming together and helping out Ukraine and being able to close off like the U.S. airspaces to all
Hell yeah.
Russian flights. And so Biden was like, we're paying them back we're fighting back with pure courage. Ukraine is fighting back with courage. So it's very interesting. I actually have been really enjoying watching the news lately.
Yeah, it has been interesting stuff going on. It's like kind of crazy that, you know, we first leave a pandemic and then there's inflation and now there's like a whole war. It's like, what is the 2020s? Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, like we were going from watching Inventing Anna, war.
Yeah, literally.
Inventing Anna, inflation. Like it's like so many.
It's crazy.
You know, we're watching this really good show, and then there's a lot going on, and then AOC, so Representative Alexandra Cortez, I can never say her full name, but said that like she thinks Biden didn't go far enough in committing to the progressive agenda, and she was also upset about his failure to include to mention like student debt during his speech, which I know that he extended student loan pause payment through May 1st, which is a good thing for my little sister who has like absolutely $0 and needs all the time to save up to start paying it back. I got Venmo'd by her when I was in college. My little sister, she cannot save money, so I'm the money conscious sibling. I got Venmo requested for like $3 when I was in college, and I was like, oh, this poor sweet girl, she doesn't even have $3. So I send her money
She's like, I
for
need a
like,
tequila shot.
you know, Chick-fil-A or McDoubles. She was like, oh, you know what? That's probably exactly what it was. It was a college shot. But we'll see. So he never commented on like broad relief.
Okay, so my thing
We'll
is
see
like,
when that
what does
picks up into gear. But
what
that's
does
kind of
student debt though have to do with State of the Union? Like, I'm confused on that aspect.
There was a lot of controversy because he touched on like 7 different topics during his briefing, and people wanted him to focus more on like our economy because of the war and like oil prices and what we're gonna do, and it was just very like point blank vague and kind of hard to follow.
Well, speaking of the war, I have a little update on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which I also want to start calling the Putin-Ukraine conflict, because really, like, I'm pretty saddened by the amount of hate that Russians are getting just in general, because if we know what we know that Russians are not doing anything to instigate this war, and it's truly Putin who has somehow managed to con his way into Russian office like for way too many years, and he's crazy. So it's just like really sad. But the Russian ruble, because of like the SWIFT thing where they blocked the Russian SWIFT stuff, which is like basically like SWIFT is like the routing numbers of like normal US banks. It's like the foreign routing numbers. So they blocked Russian SWIFTs, and then there's like all these sanctions, and now the ruble, which is the Russian currency, has gone down to less than a penny in like US dollars. So their ruble is just like fucked, and all of these Russians who did not choose this war to happen are basically like flat fucking broke. They have nothing to do, nowhere to go, which also is like probably a bullish case on why crypto is a necessary thing in this world, but that's like something for another day. Yeah, so oil prices, because of the sanctions with Russia, hit the highest price per barrel since 2011, topping $111. And I don't know if you remember this, but during COVID, like in 2020, the price per barrel was literally negative. Like, basically, it was a free barrel. That's how bearish people were on oil at that point. And now, because of these sanctions and people assuming that there's going to be like so much less supply and just having so much fear about it, the price per barrel has skyrocketed. And then people were thinking like, oh, you know, not crypto bears, stock market bulls were thinking, oh, because of this whole conflict, like the Fed isn't going to increase rates because this basically takes care of inflation. No, Jay Powell at the latest meeting reiterated that we are in a strong economy and they want to continue to keep inflation at 2% and that we can expect a 25 basis point rate hike, which I don't know if you know, but when you see BPS next to like any number, that means basis point at the March meeting. And also something cool that he said is that it is possible to have more than one reserve currency in the United States. And what he meant by that is, along with the dollar, the United States will probably add the CBDC, which is the central bank digital currency. And he was saying that we need this type of currency in the United States, but just because we have the CBDC doesn't mean that people will stop using normal cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, whatever it may be, which is like really interesting.
I'd like some, but I get paid with like, I get paid through crypto for like a lot of marketing that I do and stuff, so I don't want it to be like centralized.
I know, that's like the thing. I feel like the whole thing with Russia has shown me, at least, that like you should have some of your money in a decentralized currency because you never know what might happen with your own government and with that centralized currency. Like, even though it's the United States dollar, like you can never be too sure. Like, why put all of your eggs in one basket the same way you wouldn't put all of your money into one stock? Why would you put all of your money into one currency? And the same goes for Bitcoin. I wouldn't put all of my money into Bitcoin, but like I feel like it definitely makes a case that you should be diversified in your currencies.
I can talk about that later in this episode too, because it's something that I've been really focused on the last week is why, you know, I feel awful that these people are getting shut off from payment systems and they're not able to use their current capital. It's like being depleted, and if they didn't buy Bitcoin, you're essentially fucked.
Yeah.
Like they
so
weren't able to make it through certain turnstiles at a train station to get on the train or to get on the underground tube transportation system. I don't know if you saw that picture of people just like backed up because their cards weren't working.
It's so bad. But honestly, I'm like,
so importance of crypto.
Bad. I'm like kind of interested in what's the price of caviar lately. Because I could really fuck around with some like very cheap Russian caviar. It's probably bad.
I love caviar.
You don't like it?
It's dinner time, so we're both like, no, I like it a lot.
Oh my god, I love it. I could eat like a whole thing of it. It's so good. But it's really like, honestly,
it's like one of the nicest foods I've ever had.
The whole conflict though with Russia and Ukraine, it's just so sad on both sides. Like, it's so sad. And also, like, Russians are losing their lives too because they're fighting in a war that they have to fight in. Like, if they refuse to fight in the war, what, you think it's just gonna go over well with Putin? No, he's gonna fucking come for you. So, like, people are scared shitless going to fight in a war that they don't want to fight in at the risk of being killed.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
You can tell they don't want to. There's a 20-year-old boy that just went, like, viral today. He surrendered to Ukraine, and they were giving him tea and food, and they called his mom.
I know, but he was already in Ukraine. Like,
And he was
How
just
do you
like,
think it would have gone over if he was in Russia and told his team, whatever, like,
right,
yo, I'm not fighting in this war? They'd be like, fuck
I don't want to fight anymore.
They'd literally shun him.
I'm pretty sure.
Anyways, so
I think worse than that.
I do want to touch on the oil prices and like what's going on with that, because I've had a lot of questions about whether people think that oil might be going to $150 per barrel in 2022, which, I mean, it's possible. Nothing's impossible, but I don't really see it. But I do want to touch on some alternative energy sources, because I know people are so scared, like, oh my God, Biden should open up new oil pipelines, blah, 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 like Biden, we need more oil. Like, no, we actually don't need more oil. We just need energy. And there's a difference. So I want to touch on clean energy, because as we move into the future, we should be thinking about all of the ways that we can make our future better. So from wildfires and floods to wacky weather patterns and rising sea levels, it is very obvious that the way that we treat our planet is having long-term effects. Companies, organizations, and government thing to lessen our dependence on oil through things like solar power, wind power, and electric vehicles. Really quickly, I want to make a huge shout out to GM and Ford for pioneering the EV industry in the United States. I really don't know what we would do without them. Anyways, long live Tesla. But even despite all these efforts to, you know, make our world a cleaner place, but there still is a massive reliance on oil, as we've seen from these recently soaring oil prices, which brings me
right
to my topic of nuclear power.
Nuclear power. So I'm in the bucket of people who don't know about nuclear power. Can you kind of explain like more on nuclear power? Because that's something I'm very interested in.
Why, of course, darling. I would love to explain to you a little tale about nuclear power. So, nuclear power is a clean and efficient way of boiling water to make steam, which in turn produces electricity via kinetic energy. So the steam basically like moves objects, which create energy. So nuclear power plants use low enriched uranium fuel to produce electricity through a process called fission, which is the splitting of uranium atoms in a nuclear reactor. So basically, what's really cool about nuclear power is that a single uranium pellet, which is literally like this big, it's slightly larger than a pencil eraser, contains the same energy as a whole ton of coal, 3 barrels of oil, or 17,000 cubic feet of natural gas. So each tiny little uranium fuel pellet provides up to 5 years of heat for power generation. And because uranium is one of the most abundant metals in the world, it can provide fuel for the world's commercial nuclear plants for generations to come, which gives an idea to all of you about the sustainability aspect of nuclear power. So now switching to the environmental aspect, power plants don't burn any materials. So because they're not burning anything, they're not producing combustion byproducts. Additionally, because they don't produce greenhouse gases, nuclear plants help protect air quality and mitigate climate change. Woo! Who would have thought? And for those who are worried about nuclear energy being harmful because it shares half the same name with nuclear weapons, that makes me feel like I'm in Austin Powers. Nuclear. The United States is already the world's largest producer of nuclear power, so we're already doing it. And in 2019, the United States produced about 19% of the total electrical output of the whole world from nuclear power. Or that's 19% of the world's total nuclear. But I think it's 19% of the total electrical output that was in the United States was produced by nuclear, which is really cool. And I think that the reason...
Golly.
So I was like, right? It's cool.
Like, I feel like I'm back in science class. You're teaching me about this really cool power.
Yeah. So...
She's a scientist as well.
We got power. Okay. Back on track. So, the reason why I think that nuclear is so slept on and it's hardly discussed is honestly, we're coming back to it, old white men who have too much money and power. I think that these old white men and families, like big oil families in Texas, sorry, or rather, sorry, blonde broker, they want...
Sorry, Dad.
They want oil to thrive as long as it can, because as long as oil thrives, they get to keep their money and power. But if we are being realistic, nuclear power is the way to enable clean energy in the future. Which brings me to...
I like it.
The trade of the week.
Ooh, I'm super excited for this.
Yes. So, now I welcome you to the trade of the week, which is uranium. If we're talking tickers, U is killing it. They're not really killing it, but it's a uranium play.
U.
So U is a uranium play. They broke their downtrend. They gapped up the other day at 752. And as we know, 9 out of 10 gaps do get filled. So it likely will go back down to 752. But if it does, I think that is your loading zone. And that is a play that I am currently in. I purchased it before 752, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Look at you.
Yeah. But yeah, uranium, if you want to take part in the future of clean energy, I think you should definitely own some uranium. And preferably uranium producers in the United States, because you don't want to own stuff from outside of the country, especially with what's going on right now and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Another company that I want to mention on the uranium trade is BWX Technologies, ticker BWXT. It is a specialty manufacturer of nuclear components, a developer of nuclear technologies, and a service provider with an operating history of more than 100 years. So basically, they make all of the parts that will go into the nuclear reactors that are producing the nuclear energy. And what's really cool about this company is that its primary customer is the United States government. And we all know that means fucking money. Because the government loves to throw money like it's water at their little investments.
Like it's water.
Yeah, they literally do. It's just like fucking cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And also whatever its fucking ticker is, BWXT just had a deal with, hold on, let me pull it up. They just had a $1 billion deal. Where the fuck is my Weeble?
I heard about this.
You did?
Yeah, this week, I think.
Lost my Weeble. It's disappeared on me. I think it's frozen. Okay, so we're gonna force quit Weeble real quick. Let me just do that.
Goodbye, Weeble.
Weeble desktop not responding. How sad. I bet StockTwits wouldn't stop responding on me.
Oh, ES Fox Joint Venture awarded $73 million contract from Bruce Power.
No, that wasn't it. It was a $1 billion contract.
Let's find the billion.
On
$1 billion.
It was like from some United States like military or something.
Yes. And I'll say that the U.S. Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program has exercised contract options totaling approximately $1 billion for manufacturing naval nuclear reactor components and fuel. So,
$1 billion.
New program options. That's a shit ton of money.
It's a shit ton of money. The United States government fucking throws money out like water. It's insane. But yeah, they are clearly good on contracts and good at securing them. So that's definitely a ticker to look out for that are worth looking at. Are other uranium stocks. Cameco, which is ticker CCJ, they supply 9% of the world's uranium. But the flaw in that company is that they are a Canadian company, and we like U.S. stocks on Two Girls, One Trade. There's also Uranium Energy Corp, which is ticker UEC. There's UR Energy Inc., which is ticker URG. There's Next Gen Energy, which I also have a position in, NXE. There's Denison Mines, DNN. There's Rio, which I talked about last week.
Rio, we remember Rio.
In that. But that's a copper play, actually, but they have a small exposure to uranium. So if you want like a more diversified option, Rio is pretty good. But that's also in Brazil, and we don't like non-US stocks, but I'm fine with Rio. But yeah, that's my little spiel on clean energy and how it pertains to the trade of the week.
How'd you do this week? Like when you were trading them, did you make money? Did you hit your what was it? It was a $250 goal.
Oh yeah. I'm having an issue with my account right now that I don't even know what the fuck happened. But basically they're like, you can't make any more day trades. Because I think I
Wait, you told me that. You said, what the fuck does this mean?
I know, I'm so confused. They were like, you have to put $4,500 into your account and let it sit there for 2 days and then call and have the what's it called? Violation removed. I guess I have a day trade violation. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Good. Is it the same thing as a good faith violation, or are those different?
It's
because I've gotten plenty of those.
I guess I traded with more than what my margin allowed. I don't really know. I'm confused on it. But whatever, I put the 4,500 in, so I'm just waiting for it to settle for all the days that they told me to, and we'll see what happens. I don't know.
And then we'll be rocking and rolling.
I just had to transfer it from my crypto account.
And then what about crypto? So crypto, I guess you could still trade. I mean, it's cool that you can trade crypto on Webull. You can trade crypto on StockTwits.
Ooh,
baby. But we can talk about crypto. This is something I've been itching at because the coolest thing happened this past week with
what happened?
The war. The war is not cool, but there were crypto donations pouring into Ukraine as the country resists the Russian invasion. So I think this is really cool, as we've seen this full-scale invasion, the international sanctions beginning to crumble the Russian economy. You see that the Ukrainians are using crypto to protect their wealth. There was a Twitter page that was setting up donations that you could send crypto money to. They were also selling NFTs, which everyone knows that and if you want to purchase an NFT, you have to use a cryptocurrency to make the exchange, whether you're doing this on OpenSea or another platform, and they were using these donations and sending them over to Ukrainian families, and they were able to use cryptocurrency money now to live.
That's so dope.
To make it through the past couple of days.
Also, side note, I saw some of those posts where like the Ukrainian government posted their address, like their crypto address, and I was thinking, I wonder how many people are like trying to scam people by like photoshopping it and just photoshopping their own crypto address on top of it and then posting that on like,
I'm sure it happened, like, sadly, and I hate that happened, but like, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which kind of sucks, but
Me
like,
being a psycho,
they raised over about like the bad stuff. They raised over $30 million in cryptocurrency since tweeting an appeal for donations that was as of like Saturday. So the government and the prime minister shared wallet addresses for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for our Tether coin, which is like a stable US dollar equivalent coin, and then they were basically receiving it as donations, and it just really emerged as this important currency that was like an alternative to the crowdfunding method, and they allowed quick across the border donations, and I just think that's really fucking cool.
They should use really all those donation money to put a fatwa or whatever it's called on Putin's head. A bounty. Yeah.
You think of bounty.
Dead or alive, baby. Dead or alive. I want Putin's head.
Alive. So now we also have these like global financial institutions that are now getting into crypto, which is why I'm still bullish. I've always been bullish on crypto. I've been investing in crypto for a long time. I understand that a lot of people don't understand the concept, and yes, it is a hassle when you're having to transfer from ERC SEP 21 to BC, like all the different numbers and words that I can't even think of, but I'm spending like 10 minutes trying to just get the currency over to my bank account, like my regular bank account, not my crypto wallet, but like my actual bank account so I can go eat food. But like we're seeing that the New York and the London Stock Exchange are exploring crypto capability. So the stock exchange filed a trademark for NFTs in the marketplace.
Oh shit!
Expecting to, and this is something I was actually just there speaking to a couple of guys on the stock exchange floor, and they're wanting to compete against OpenSea with a new platform. So they've agreed to do this like $325 million deal. Even the London Stock Exchange Group has agreed to buy like US-based cloud tech server, and they're going to start doing crypto trading and banking. So I think that's super exciting. And a lot of other e-commerce giants are plotting to make crypto moves as well. So a lot of headway. I believe it was eBay. Their CEO noted the company's like auction planning to focus on like millennial consumers and launching NFTs. So I think we're going to see a lot happening. And like touching on why it matters, 70% of these big institutional investors are expected to buy or invest in digital assets such as NFTs or crypto in the near future. So that's a lot of whale money coming in that we weren't really seeing before. We were seeing retail traders invest in crypto, and now I think we're going to see some movements, and especially with the bullish indicators of being able to donate to Ukraine and seeing the necessary needs for Russia to have crypto. I think we're going to see really big things happen.
Honestly, I've really been liking Dogecoin lately, which I know sounds crazy because it started as like a meme coin, but I'm really liking it. Like, it's so fast, their fees are so low, and it's just like really good for purchasing and tipping and like all these little things, because you could send like 5 Doge and it costs like nothing to send that. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm going to make a video on Dogecoin, kind of like my Lucid and Tesla and like DM NFT videos. I'm going to do one on Doge, just like explaining it and all that stuff, because it's actually really interesting. And there's like all these cool new projects that are launching to try to make Dogecoin a thing, which literally reminds me, like, can we insert the clip from Mean Girls? Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not gonna happen.
You. That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. Stop trying to make Dogecoin happen.
Stop trying to make Dogecoin happen.
Well, it's already happened.
No, but seriously, I'm like, I really think it could potentially be like the coin of the people. So we shall see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
My butt hurts.
What are you wearing? That's cute.
Oh, thanks. I got this shirt from Tiger. Except for, honestly, it's like polyester and my pits are really sweating.
No comment.
But yeah, should we hop into some questions of the week?
Caw, you said caw. Yes, we should.
Caw.
Sorry. I sound like a 10-year-old.
Question.
Let's do it.
Okay. So.
This is probably my favorite segment besides crypto.
I know. This is honestly one of my favorites too, just because, like, the questions we get asked sometimes are so funny. I'm like, it's like, I thought I was what goes through you people's heads? Fucking weirdo. We have some weirdos in here, but I love it. I love you all, and I love the weird shit that goes on in your heads. Okay, so question numéro 2. What is your take on meme stocks moving forward during rising interest rates? Crushed by financials or still opportunities for short squeezes?
I think it really depends on the meme stock, but I kind of think I know which stock in particular they're talking about, which is AMC. And I still do not know how some of you people are invested in that stock. Like, that valuation like makes 0 sense to me. And they still host AMC Twitter Spaces every single day.
Also, my mom is so annoying.
Kind of the only thing that I can think of. What other meme stock?
She's always calling me all the time. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, I'm recording the podcast tonight at this time. And of course she freaking calls me. I'm like, I'm busy.
I love her. I absolutely love her. Your mom is so funny.
I know. She's crazy.
You two are like sassy, like the perfect amount of sass back and forth to each other. And I'm like, I'm not getting involved. I'm saying all this. It's cute.
I know. We like have these
and
little,
she's beautiful. Like, oh, your mom is flames.
I
like,
know. She's
so
definitely
hot.
a MILF for sure. Okay. So next question. Are BJs only for special occasions, or should they be normalized? Both ways, not just for men.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that was kind of a... Let's get into it. You want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. I definitely think that BJs should absolutely be normalized. I think that if you're not giving or receiving, I don't know what's going to happen to your relationship, but I think that there's definitely some technique
cheating
and
probably
skill. Yeah, there's a lot of technique and skill involved in BJs going both ways, so I recommend to everyone to learn how to do it best, and the anatomy specifically for females, what the anatomy is and what should go where, and all that stuff. That's so much fun. But yeah, they should totally be normalized. yes, that's how I feel on that subject.
I couldn't agree more. Like, it's not the nicest thing to look at, but you're not really doing it to look at it. Like, you're trying to pleasure your partner, and
Really? I like love it. I don't know
think that's
why.
super important. Like, I just feel like it's one of those where you're like in the mood. It's like, drop them. Like, drop your trousers right now. I'm about to do this.
Drop them.
Take them off. Take them off. I'm in the mood. But definitely, I think that's should be normalized. I do have friends that are like, ew, I would never suck his dick. And I'm like, you're lost, man, because he's going to do it back to you, and that shit feels good.
Yeah, literally. Also, like, yeah, I have so many friends that don't like to do it whatsoever, and I'm like, girl, that's bad.
So there's some, I think a lot of it too is people don't like the like gag reflex that it triggers, and I heard that if you like, you know, take like your thumbs and do this and squeeze, you don't gag. But then I'm like, okay, so what do you do with your hands? Like,
there's definitely some
just do.
techniques
I don't know.
we could go into, but I feel like that's a little explicit. I don't know. We could go into them.
Yeah, I don't want to get censored again. We'll go to the next question.
I'm gonna just say this. I'm not saying anything about anything, but
I've got a giant
for those that
pen
are
we can
worried about
practice.
a gag reflex, you have hands for a reason. You can grab. You don't have to go that far. And then for the men, Google the clit. That's all I have to say.
Yes,
Okay.
Jesus, please.
Next question.
Please.
Thoughts on the economy, the Fed, and the overall market moving forward from Ukraine, Russia? Do you see a recession, higher inflation, a market crash? What is your opinion?
I still think, and I'm standing by this, and I really don't know why, because I have not been around for a war. I haven't been trading this long, but I still think the market is going to dip. I think it's going to dip. I know we had some really good green days last week, but like I think tomorrow's going to be a really bloody day in the market. I just have this like gut feeling. I think it's because things aren't really tightening up with Russia. I don't know how long wars last, but in my mind I was hoping this was like a 3-day. The first time they got together to talk, I thought it was going to end.
Yeah, like COVID when we thought it was a 2-week
and then the market was going to rally. Yeah. So honestly, I'm not seeing the market moving upwards anytime soon, but this isn't financial advice, and I don't know. Like, there's a lot to take into account. I think oil is going to keep rising. I've seen crazy accusations of like, you know, $200. I don't see that, but I do see it going up, and maybe the blue chip oil stocks are going to go down, and maybe EVs will run. Like, I could kind of see a lot of different things happening.
So,
What do you think?
I agree that I think that the market is going to go down. I think people are just like so eager for good news, and I feel like people want to be bullish so badly, but there's so much shit going on. China Wednesday night drove their little army boats on the coast of Taiwan, and then 3 hours later Taiwan experienced major power outages. So like, it's not, you know, nobody knows what the cause of the power outages were from, but I mean, we're in a very interesting time right now. There's like the threat of nuclear war. There's the threat of, you know, like Russia, Ukraine, which is an existing threat that's priced in kind of currently. But like, what happens if China gets an idea from Russia and just decides to fucking take over Taiwan? Or what if last night, or whenever it was, Wednesday night, was a test for like some future attack, and seeing how Taiwan responds, how long it takes them to respond. Like, I don't know what was going on, and I don't know if it was China, but there's so much uncertainty in the world. And then on top of it, there's a fact that we have ridiculously high inflation right now.
Yes.
Large cap stocks are supremely overvalued. That's a fact. They've been due for a correction before all of this shitstorm that's been going on in the world. So now with the added shitstorm, I just don't think it's a recipe for anything bullish. So I agree with you. I think that the market could see itself come down a little bit more. I drew a little resistance line on the NASDAQ, and yesterday it touched it and it closed basically like at my resistance line, and then today, Thursday, it opened above it and then it came all the way down and through it and back under. So I feel like that was pretty bearish, but I didn't notice like supremely high volume on that. But still, it's just like the market is all over the place. I definitely don't think it's a time to go like super long, and by super long I mean put all of your eggs in that basket. But I do think that you could start adding to positions that you want to be long in long term. So like I've been adding to, what did I add to?
Yes. You're adding to your winners.
Yeah. Add to the winners, not the losers. I've obviously, as I've been saying on the pod, I've been adding to various materials stocks like uranium and copper, specifically ones that are United States based, because those will be necessary for nuclear power, for EVs, like for producing batteries, for producing chips and all this shit. But yeah, just
futuristic stocks. I would look at military stocks, I think.
Yeah, Raytheon, Halliburton. Those are probably good ones to look at too. Thoughts on Mama Kathy Wood? I fucking love Kathy. I think she's a queen. Her portfolio.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with her.
I know, I love her. Her portfolios are dope. She's like kind of the only one that's doing major investments in innovation, which is super cool because the future is innovation. People that think that we're going to stay in the past are on crack. And, you know, we saw it at the NYSE. They just trade the stuff that's most traded because they're traders. They're trading on the day. But like if you're investing for long term, I think a lot of her stocks are going to come out as winners. Not every single one, but I think a lot of them will. And her investment strategy is pick like a bunch of stocks that have the potential to go up 1,000%. Even if some don't, the other ones that do will make up for it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
5,
like
10
she's looking
years,
at those. She's looking at the pre-Googles and the Microsofts in the garage. Like she's playing it right, and she's beautiful. And if you're listening to this, Kathy Woods, we would love to have you on the show.
Kathy Woods, we love you.
Please and thank you. Someone tag her in this.
I think that is it on questions. Wait, let me look. Yes.
Oh, I think the last one was oil, which
we already answered that. So yeah, I think that is it on questions. If you do not follow us on Instagram and Twitter, make sure you do. My handle is @TheTradingChick on both Instagram and Twitter.
And my handle on Instagram is @theblondebroker.eth, and on Twitter it is @theblondebroker. Shoot us a DM if you have any questions that you want us to answer on the pod. We kind of like to tweet about them, and we'll pick the most popular, kind of obviously the most interesting. But we love you guys. We'll be sure to follow back. And we're super excited, guys. This was episode 11. We like doing these in person. Give us some feedback. Let us know if you like to see us on camera. And also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, subscribe.
And
subscribe,
TikTok.
Subscribe. Tell your mom, tell your brother, tell your uncle, tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your postman. Fucking subscribe to our YouTube, please. We love you.
Hey,
and
Mr.
also
Postman.
follow our podcast page. We changed the handle. It is now 2 Girls 1 Trade. On Instagram and TikTok, it is the number 2 Girls, the number 1 Trade. And then on Twitter,
Trade.
it is spelled out 2 Girls, number 1 Trade.
1.
And on that note, what do we say in closing?
I am healthy.
I am wealthy.
I am rich.
I am that bitch.
Period. See you next time on 2 Girls, 1 Trade.
Blonde Broker and Trading Chick signing off. Love you. Hi everyone. We have a very exciting announcement for you today.
If we hit 100,000 subscribers by August 26th, one lucky fan will have a chance to hang with us in New York City.
It gets better. You won't be coming alone. You'll get to bring a friend.
We'll fly you both first class, stay in a dope hotel, and go on a double date.
With us at one of New York City's most exclusive restaurants. We will sugar mommy the whole thing.
We have fun activities planned for the entire weekend, including $5,000 to each of you in any currency you choose.
So hit the subscribe button and we can't wait to see you in New York.